All right, I'm Nick. Today we are going to make a new rudder installation video. Now, the first time we filmed a rudder or aluminum rudder installation video, I did it myself in a backyard, and the truth is that was the first time I had ever did it. I did it with like one hand, I had a tripod. I said the same, nothing to it, or let's do this or something the whole time. It was a terrible video, okay? So today, Jack's gonna film it. We're gonna do it a little bit better. This is obviously a Old Town Sportsman E or just regular PDL 120 Pro. Now this process is pretty much identical on all of the Old Town kayaks, okay? It is not difficult, it is easy, but you have to follow the steps. I've done it a few more times since then, obviously, so we have a little bit, a little simpler solution, okay? But follow the steps. After we make the video, I'll come back and I'll put a little tools required thing right here in the video. But we're gonna start off with two things. First thing that we are gonna do, we're gonna come back here to the back and we're gonna break this nut loose, okay? Now that one, no issues, okay? Sometimes this is cross-threaded from Old Town, as in this bolt goes into this nut on the backside and it is cross-threaded. If that's the case, you're gonna have to end up drilling this out. You just put the drill bit right here in the middle and just drill until that head falls out. That's easy. That doesn't happen often. That's like a super tiny little percent. So don't let that scare you. That's just something that we've learned over the last 5 years, okay? Don't stress about that. I've had it happen once for a customer I was putting together, but not common, something silly. But first thing I would do is I would just make sure that is able to break loose. That way you don't get started with all this and then you can't get the rudder off. Then we're gonna come back up here to the front. We're gonna take a little flathead screwdriver, your pocket knife, whatever you got, and we're just gonna pop this piece off, all right? Don't stab yourself. There are a few different access points. Should come off there pretty easy. We're just gonna set it in there. We're gonna put this back in there. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna pull this out of here, and then sometimes this is tied pretty tight. We're just gonna get this line undone. And look, this is gonna be a pretty long video. It just is what it is. Get that undone. Now, the first thing you're gonna do from this point right here to avoid any incidents, you're just gonna take this, put you a simple overhand knot here, put you a simple overhand knot here. Now we have the rudder in the down position. If you're watching this, pause the video at every single step. That way you don't get behind. Put the rudder in the down position, okay? This is done here. Put the rudder in the down position. Now our goal, we're just gonna take both of these and loosen them. Take notes. You see how this is pretty much identical to the same length? If you get done and one is longer or shorter, you did something wrong. But that's simple. We're gonna loosen both of these. After we loosen these, we're just gonna untwist that like that and untwist that like this. Now we're gonna walk to the rear of the kayak. And our goal of doing that is if Jack comes in right here, there's a line on the right side, and in the down position, that line is underneath here. It goes around the rudder to here. The left side is on top of here. And Jack, see if you could put the camera up top. You see how this rope is right here? We want to pull this one. So we're just gonna pull on that. Now, when we go back up there, this rope is shorter. So that's the rope that we are gonna attach our metal to or our line to here in a minute and pull through the kayak. Now we're gonna go back to this one. We're just gonna go back around there. And we're gonna tighten that back down. The only line that we're gonna work with this entire time is this line. Now we'll just pull that back out. We are going to undo our little overhand knot. Now for this video, I am gonna use this 20,000 mail-in safety wire. You can use fishing wire, just make sure that it is about 27 pounds and you need it to be single strand. Don't buy 7-strand, it's just gonna fray and you're gonna have problems. I started using this just because I could put it on the ground and I could do that. Next thing, to make this as easy as possible, And going that direction or going into the kayak and through, this is not that important, okay? This doesn't have to be pretty. Coming back is a different story. Take this lighter, you're just gonna heat this up. After you heat that up, you can just easier shove this through. Just gonna go through here like this, and make sure you got a good chunk, okay? Don't just be living your life on the edge, you get the whole thing. We're gonna come back through here. I'm just gonna give it a few twists like that. Now we could get away with leaving it just like that, so let's just do that. Now, if you wanna be real particular, you could clip that little end off of there, just so it's pretty. Now we know we have plenty of wire, so we're gonna go back here to the back, and we're just gonna pull on this wire, nice and easy. It's slowly gonna start, go look over there. It's slowly gonna start going, make sure it's nice and straight, it's good. Now it'll go, you'll get a little tight right here. You just go nice and slow. Okay, so now it's in. It's making its way through the pulley. You don't have to pull fast, okay? Now this, you guys can't see it, but inside the kayak, it's just running down through a piece of plastic tubing. Just go nice and slow. You don't have to go fast. There is a little bit more resistance in this tubing than I would like. However, this kayak right here has been flipped offshore, and it probably has grass in there. Probably has grass, probably has salt in there. Boom, all right? And that is why you twist it, or maybe we got a little hung up right here. That might be our issue. All right, so we are through. Now we're gonna take this in a second. So here's our problem. Here's our tension. It's not coming out of my spool very good. Keep that in mind, all right? And we wanted to have the video in every which direction so you guys could see everything. Now, oh yeah, a little bit easier to pull. Okay, so we got a pair of snips right here. We're just gonna snip this off like that. We're just gonna pull it up there out of our way. We're gonna snip this off, and we'll just put it over here in our garbage pile for later, okay? Now, important to remember, the rudder is still in the down position. Let me grab this flathead real quick. The rudder is still in the down position, okay? Now, we're gonna take the screwdriver. Let's pause. This is our replacement rudder, right? Okay, so this is called a wobble stop. We changed that several years ago, never told anybody about it. But this is gonna go in there just like that, okay? So lay it in an orientation that you know, wobble stop, going in like that. This little notch should be up here to the left going backwards. Just gonna set it like that way, so when I grab it, it is easy and good to go. We're gonna take this out. We're just gonna set that to the side. Good spot. Now from here, we're just gonna spread this part apart. If for some reason it is a little too tight for you, there's another screw down here and you can loosen it, but you don't gotta take it apart. Just give it a few twists and loosen it up, okay? Now this is just gonna pop. You spread that all apart like that. And then we're just gonna slide, ideally, slide this out of there. Now we don't have a lot of slack in that one. See this line right here? This is the line that we left tight. If you can't get it out of there, at this point, come back up here and we're just gonna loosen this back up. Sometimes there's enough play in the system. Obviously not there. Now we have an overhand knot in here still. That's gonna pull back into that groove. Remember, just pause the video, okay? So now this is gonna give us a little room to play with. We're gonna pull this system out of here just like that, okay? Now if you notice, this wire or rope goes underneath that black groove right here. And it goes over the top of the rudder right here. We're gonna take this and we're gonna pull it directly back out, okay? And then from this point, if you come look on this side real quick, Jack. You guys are gonna see how the rope comes right through here. We're just gonna take our tiny little flathead and we're just gonna pry this a little bit. We just wanna loosen everything up. All right, make it a little bit easier to work with. And all we're gonna do is we're gonna pull this line all the way back through. Now we're gonna be careful in this process and take your right thumb on the back side of that rope and just push in like this, okay? And then you're just gonna pull this. Remember, you can do this all by yourself. Just use your cell phone to watch the video, pause the video, go slow. We're gonna pull that through just like that. Now, you see that little loop right there? We do not want to lose that loop. We're just gonna take that and pinch it with our hand like this. And now we're gonna pull that through. You see how this line is going through that hole? We're just gonna drop that. That was loud. And now we're gonna grab our replacement rudder. You want it in the same, you want that groove right here to be on the same side as that. You want the wobble stop to go in. Now we know, probably could've, it's probably nice to have help, but the goal is to show you that you don't need it. We're gonna go through that hole we just came out of, like that right there. Hey, you're not supposed to help me. You see this guy? This guy's over here helping. No, you can do it yourself, okay? Now you're gonna come back through, and that thing that you pinched, you just put that back in there like this. I gotta fire my help. He's too helpful. Come back up here like that. Pull this back through. Push this back out that way. And then cinch that back down. Okay? Now, we're gonna toss that over our shoulder, okay? We're just gonna slide this back in place. We're just gonna slide it back in place. We're just gonna push it back together. That line is kind of long, right? We don't want that. So we're gonna come back up here. We're gonna grab that line. We're just gonna pull it tight. That is just gonna hold everything together. Now, we're gonna take this piece. We can go back up and through right now, or we can take this, put it back in here. We don't need to hulk out and tighten this down crazy tight. We're just gonna get that so it's threaded in there and it can't fall apart. Now the rudder can't fall. This line goes back up over the top. But remember, we have to go underneath. Come up here to the front, Jack. We gotta go underneath that and around it. So we're gonna take our little bent end. We're just gonna put it down here. It's already bent. It'll go around there. We're just gonna pull this through. Nice and easy. Don't let it get down there in that groove. It should be, excuse me, it should be on top of that spacer. My finger is probably in the way. Now, we're just gonna tighten everything back up, back here. And then we're gonna go back. Jack will come around real quick just so you guys can see this angle too. Remember, we tightened this bolt up. We're gonna go back down here to this bottom one that we loosened just a little. Bam. Now, I have a photo on my phone that I'm gonna bring it up, even for myself, just to make sure. Because I experimented with this wire and how to get the black rope back through as easy as possible. And I have a picture that I saved. Hope it's actually a video. Yeah, that's how I did it. I wanted to make sure I wasn't crazy. Okay, so we got our wire, we got our rope. Make sure this isn't tangled around here. It should have a clear straight line to that hole, okay? We're gonna take our lighter again. And this is super important, okay? We're gonna take our lighter, straighten all this out. Remember, pause the video. The greatest thing about YouTube, the pause function. We're gonna heat this back up. Heat it up pretty good, okay? Because we wanna go right down the middle. See how that's right in the middle? Wherever it comes out, it comes out. Just make sure it comes out, you know, more than ½ an inch from the front. You're gonna pull this forward, and then we are just gonna wrap this. We could wrap it forward. You wrap it how you wanna wrap it, okay? The idea is we want this to pull through the center. And it has to be flexible enough up front that it can navigate back through that pulley. I'm just gonna reference my photo again, because what I ended up doing was I did that, and I came back through this wire. Come on. And then I pulled this tight. These are dikes, snips, but if you are worried about breaking it, don't do that. Just get you a different thing. Now I'm just gonna come up in here. Just gonna cut this off, okay? It is pretty darn secure. That was the word I was looking for. Now we're gonna go up here to the front, and we're just gonna pull nice and slow, okay? You should be able to pull with one hand. You should be able to make sure this enters correctly. And now we're off. Nothing should be able to get caught up anywhere. But remember, once again, you're up here, you're just going slow. You're not yanking on it. If you do come to a spot where it gets stiff, no big deal. And this handle is kind of gonna move and free float and do some weird stuff. Don't stress about that, okay? If it's in this area or all the way down here, just leave it where it's at for now. You're gonna look back there. Just show them so they can see. So you're gonna look back there, you're gonna be pulling, and you can tell, okay, we're good, we're coming out good, the rope's going in good, we're still just going nice and slow, everything's falling in place, perfect. Now, we're just gonna come back, make sure we're good. We're gonna come back up here and have a look. Okay, I got to a spot where I feel a little bit of resistance, okay? A little bit of resistance there. We're just gonna give it a little wiggle. Now don't pull hard. We're just gonna give this pulley a little wiggle. Now, if you can't get it to come, just pause, go back over here, oops, pull back a little bit here. You can reach both of them, and then pull forward a little bit here. And what it is that front of the rope is hitting on the inside of that pulley. The pulley is a circle, and the rope has to go around the pulley and then through a little tiny notch. And I'll post some photos from Old Town how to do it. Now, if you just yank on this, the chances of you failing are high. But if you pull nice and slow, give it a wiggle, and go back and forth, it's gonna come through there eventually. Now, the only way to expedite this, say that you're getting frustrated about it, you can shove your hand in here and you can get to the back side of that and just kind of poke around till you feel it. Close your eyes, poke around. If you have one of these kayaks, you can just pull this off of there. For now, I'm gonna show you that you don't need to do that. We're just gonna keep going back and forth for a second. I feel like there's something in that tube. Yeah, grass. Jack flipped this bad boy in the surf. And massive June grass. Now this is where everybody freaks out. And this is why we should make this video. And I'm kind of glad it messed up. We had an issue. People freak out and they just start taking things apart. Do not take anything apart. Like, nothing is wrong at this point. If you start taking things apart, they'll start pulling these screws out. You just don't want to do that, okay? I'm gonna slide this seat forward a little bit. I wish the kayak wasn't on this table. I'm gonna try to get my hand in there, which on a 120 Pro, you're not gonna be able to do that because of this wall. And that's why they made this plate. And maybe this is a good thing, because maybe we can show them what it looks like inside of there.
Grass in there.
Probably is something crazy in there. There was so much water in this kayak the other day. Okay, nice thing about it is, I don't know if you guys will be able to see. Let me put a light in there. That way you guys can maybe get some camera action. And just like that, the phone is gone forever. Okay, can you guys see that pulley? Probably not.
Stick it in there.
The pulley is on the inside of this. I'll shove my hand in here. I can feel the wire. And the wire is stuck on that little knob. Okay, so just like that, that's all I had to do. I touched one thing on the wire, and now it's gonna come through there just like that. You could do that on the inside of the kayak if you have issues too. I bring the camera up here. The 106 PDL, the 120 PDL, the Malibu, the Big Water, the Salty, which is a Malibu, you can get through the center hatch underneath the seat to the pulley very easy. So if you do run into an issue, don't start yanking. Like don't just start yanking on that, because all it was is this has to come through a very small channel, and it was just barely getting caught on something, which was probably the edge of this rope is being thicker than the wire. I touched it with my finger, and in seconds we were able to get it through there without any issues. Okay, so from there, remember we're in the down position. We never changed that. We also got a little hiccup back here, and this is why it's important to go back and just inspect things and look. This wire got a little twisted. We're just gonna twist that back out like that, and we're gonna pull this out just like that. Okay, now we are done with this. We're gonna cut this off of here. So let me get my tools again. Let me see what else I need. I need that screwdriver. Got a little sloppy. We're gonna come back through here. We're gonna, let's just cut this bundle of wires, pull that out of there. We'll clean up that mess later. Just for safety purposes, we're just gonna toss this loop back in there. This is tight. Remember, we don't want this to be super tight, because as the kayak expands in the heat and contracts, then you're gonna run into issues back there. This doesn't need to be the craziest, tightest thing you ever seen in your life. Doesn't need to be insane. We're gonna take this. We're gonna go back around here. We're gonna tighten that down. And I kind of hope it came off the pulley. If it came off the pulley, then we'll be able to cover every one of our bases and show you guys any issue that could happen. We're just gonna tighten those back down, and then we're gonna bring this back up real quick. All right, fully functioned in that direction, and then we're gonna go back down. Fully functioned in that direction. If you guys get to this point, and remember, this is a little bit different length. That's because we had to do our little loop back there at the rear, right? But if you get to this spot and this line is way out here, that means the rope isn't all the way around the pulley. That's not a huge deal. That's just legitimately just touch this for 6 seconds and it's fixed. Obviously on the 120 PDL Pro, you have this access here, which is nice, but that's only here because of the gunnel going down so low you can't get to it. On all the other PDL kayaks, you can access this pretty darn easy from the other side of the kayak. You just open up the hatch and put your right hand in there. So that is that, okay? Very simple, a better video than the first one, I hope. I recently went back and watched the original, and it was, I guess, maybe cringeworthy. Cringeworthy is a good explanation for it, okay? So this should help you guys out a ton, even though we have very little problems, okay? If you made it this far in the video, you've been successful. But if we go back to the very beginning of the video and talk about it, this is not a crazy process. It's actually probably harder to do when you talk about it and film the video, okay? If you have any questions, don't start taking things apart. Just send us an email at nick@navarrekayakfishing.com or call the business phone number. If I don't answer, I will call you back. Leave a voicemail, okay? That's it. Thanks for watching. Just kidding. Got a little ahead of ourselves. But you really are done, okay? The only thing that you're supposed to do is actually loop these two together. I loop those two together and then roll this back in here and then take this. And if you put it on with Old Town being like this, when you flip it over, it'll be upside down. But if you put it on upside down, when you put it up, it'll be up. So that's personal preference. Do you, okay? Anyways, that's it.